13 Colonies, Life in Early America. Coming to America. Vocabulary. So the first vocabulary term that you're going to be recording is colony. What is a colony? A colony is a settlement in a new area. Anything that you see in red, you're going to be recording on your sheet. The first English colonies in North America were along the eastern coast. Second word in your vocabulary you're going to be recording is colonist. What is a colonist? A colonist is an English man or woman that moves to the New World of North America. Original 13 colonies. Here's some visuals that you can see. Here's a map of the 13 colonies, and they split it up into the 3 different regions. Here's some example of colonist boats. Reasons why. So reasons why the people left England to come to America. Some Englishmen came for religious freedom from the Church of England. They wanted land and wealth that they couldn't have in England. They wanted freedom from the king's rule. They wanted a new beginning. They wanted adventure. They wanted gold and riches. On your recording sheet, I want you to pick 3 reasons to record. Other reasons why. Self-rule, so they wanted to be their own rulers. By 1735, there was over 6 million Englishmen, women, and children looking for the 13 English colonies here in North America for a new beginning. Each colony was unique in its characteristics. However, they were grouped together based on location, reasons they were founded, and what types of industries they had. New England colonies. So the New England colonies were the purple ones. Consisted of Rhode Island, Connecticut, Massachusetts, and New Hampshire. The middle colonies, over here in the green, consisted of Delaware, Pennsylvania, New York, and New Jersey. Southern colonies were Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. And that's represented in the yellow colonies. New England colonies. Vocabulary. We're going to be recording Puritans. Puritans, who were they? The Puritans came to New England to escape the king who punished them for their religion. They governed a strict colony that was based around the Bible and the church. They had elected officials, but they were male. No women could serve in the Puritan government. New England colonies. On your sheet, you're going to turn to the graphic organizer. You're going to record some of the key points under economy. The settlers here made a great deal of money by fur trapping. Other economic opportunities in New England were based around the sea. So fishing, shipbuilding, and whaling made them a lot of money for trade. The soil was rocky, and so the New England colonies were not known for their farms. So they didn't make a whole lot of money out of farming. New England colonies, facts. You are going to record some of the facts in your graphic organizer. People in New England towns lived, worked, and worshiped close together. The meeting house and the church were the most important buildings in the town. The Puritans settled in Massachusetts because they were so strict. Some Puritans left Massachusetts and found the other New England colonies. The colonies of New Hampshire, Connecticut, and Rhode Island were friendlier, more tolerant of people's differences. New England colonies. By 1750, busy cities cropped up around the New England colonies. Boston became world famous for its shipping port. New England colonies, so their schools. Their schools was one room. They had one teacher. It was very strict. Children were often whipped for punishment. The main subject that they studied was reading. Now we're going to go over to the middle colonies. The vocabulary for middle colonies, we're going to look at the breadbasket colonies, a nickname for the middle colonies because they produced so much grain. So they made a lot of stuff with oats, wheat, and rye. So things like breads, different types of breads. Vocabulary that we're adding is immigrant. What is an immigrant? An immigrant is a person that comes into a country to start a new life. People came to America from many different places to start a new life. Diversity. What is diversity? A group of people from very different backgrounds. The middle colonies were an interesting place to live because of the diversity among the people. Middle colonies. The settlements here were considered royal colonies. The king sent governors to watch over the middle colonies. However, it was difficult for the king to have much power over the colonies, and many colonies were considered to be self-ruled. Middle colonies economy. The middle colonies were based on agriculture, small farms and produce, many different crops. There were also factories that produced iron. Some facts about the middle colonies. Sometimes called the breadbasket colonies because they grew so much crops and for bread. The land was lush and fertile. The wagon was invented in Pennsylvania and used for trade. The Quakers. This religion was a big part of the life of the middle colonies. Although religion were welcome, the Quakers came to Pennsylvania to escape persecution by King of England. They lived in New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania. Now we're moving on to the southern colonies. Overseers. What is an overseer? Someone that was hired to watch slaves as they work. Plantation owners hired overseers to watch the slaves and make sure they did their jobs. Another vocabulary word is indigo. What is indigo? A plant that was used to make blue dye. The farmers grew indigo plants. Indigo was an important cash crop for the southern colonies. The southern colonies. The settlers here, for the most part, wanted to make money. They brought their families and their slaves worked the land. Many settlers were rich and owned large plantations. A plantation grows only one type of crop, very different from the farms of the middle colonies. The economy of the southern colonies. Almost entirely agriculture, so mostly farms and plantations. There were a lot of plantations. They were very abundant. A large part of the workforce was African American slaves. Plantations grew tobacco, rice, and indigo. Southern colony facts. Slavery was legal there. Children born to slavery became slaves themselves. Slaves were imported from Africa. Slave traders made a great deal of money. Colonial life. Facts about school. Boys normally went to grammar school while girls went to dame school. There were no chalkboards, maps, or paper. School teachers were strict and were allowed to hit their students or make them wear a dunce hat if they were bad or said the wrong answer. Other facts about school. In the New England colonies, children were taught to read so they could study the Bible. Boys got to also learn Latin and math and other subjects to get into college. Girls could learn to read, but they weren't allowed to go to grammar school or college. In the middle colonies, most schools were private. Students also learned other subjects so they could get into college. Girls weren't allowed to attend unless they were Quakers. In the southern colonies, children were mostly taught at home. As in the other colonies, southern girls did not go to higher schooling. Free time. So the things they used to do in their free time was they made clothes, they did sleigh ride or ice skating, they danced and had social clubs, they did plays, and they did barn raising, so they would start to build different barns.